When I sat down with Gil Antolin from Luxury World Traveler, I thought we'd be talking about luxury, travel, and success. But the conversation went somewhere I didn't expect. We ended up diving deep into spirituality, purpose, and what really matters beyond the external world. Proof that sometimes the most interesting conversations are the ones you never see coming.
And then the 2008 financial crisis happened.
Yeah.
And, in about 60 days, I lost everything almost. And I had to restart. And it was at that time, my spiritual advisor at the time said, "Hey, I want you to organize a mission trip to Africa." And I thought he was crazy because I'm like, I'm losing everything. I'm in like the worst place. I'm into bankruptcy. I'm in foreclosure. Like I had 7 houses I had foreclosed on me. Wow. And like cars repossessed. And I said, "This is the worst time of my life." And he like stopped me. He's like, "No, it's actually the best time of your life. You just are seeing it, very close up. But if you were to step back, you don't know what God's doing in your life. You don't know what's coming next." Some people say God, whoever, the universe, energy.
What do you believe?
I was drinking, I was smoking. Even though I had all of the things that you think that are the American dream, the big house, the boat, the jet skis, the 5 cars. I mean, why do you need 5 cars?
Yeah.
I literally had freaking 5 cars at one point. I'm like, it's so stupid, But I was miserable inside. When you have traversed the world and you've seen everything that I've seen and you've met people that I've met, you quickly realize that
This episode is brought to you by Medicare Clinic, the first and only hair transplant clinic located within a 5-star hotel in Marbella. Hello everyone, here we are with another episode of Marbella Life, bringing you exciting and new and just wonderful people who I'm really intrigued about. And Gil is one of them. I'm so happy you're here because I've been trying to catch you for a long time.
Yeah.
And since you're a luxury world traveler, you're always traveling. But now you're here in Marbella and you're here sitting with me. So thank you.
We made it happen. I know. And I'm sorry we kept trying to connect. And
don't worry. I believe in divine timing. And I know you have a lot to talk about and you're doing lots of interesting things. So
yeah.
I'm really excited. But like people who don't know you or don't follow you, like who is Gil?
Who is Gil? That's a loaded question. Yeah.
I have all the time in the world.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been an entrepreneur now for like 28 years, I believe. I had one real job and then I decided I didn't want to do that, I went to college, got the degree, like in the US, it was the whole go to college, get a degree, go get a good job, work for someone else, and really quickly I learned I didn't want to do that. So I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, but people best know me for an Instagram page I started 13 years ago called Luxury World Traveler. I had a passion for travel. And I started this page that was just dedicated to what I had a passion on, was just traveling, but on the luxury side. Because I did do really well as a young entrepreneur. So my passion was like traveling, but I didn't get to do a lot of it. In the US, you take like 2 or 3 weeks a year, which now when I look back seems crazy.
Now you're like, you're not even that long in one place.
No,
you're
no.
Just traveling away.
I travel a lot. So yeah, I started the Instagram page really as a passion project, as a hobby. And, it was like really, we talk about divine timing and things, but that I felt like I did it at the right time. Instagram was in its infancy. The page grew really quickly when it was easier to grow pages back then. And I saw an opportunity to leave something I wasn't passionate about, which is corporate finance. And the Instagram page enabled me to create what I would call a dream career, which is getting paid to travel to all the nicest places in the world. I mean, so it was...
I think every young person nowadays that's like their goal, their dream to like do that. So what an exciting career you suddenly find yourself. But you were born in California, right?
Born and raised.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you went to university. What did you study? What did you major in?
Yeah, when I first went to university, I wanted to actually be a sports medicine doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know,
Who
crazy.
Knew?
I know. Well, because my family were all athletes. My sisters were on the U.S. national gymnastics team. I played football, well, we call it soccer, American football, baseball, gymnastics, golf, tennis. Like I played all the sports growing up. I was just never good enough in one of them to go to the next level. So I just wanted to be in that profession. So went to college for that, and a year in, I discovered I didn't like to like cut things up and blood and blah, blah, blah. So then I kind of switched. Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this. And then I switched to business, and I got a degree in business. But yeah, it was never like, when you're passionate about something. So like doing finance and business, it paid the bills, but it was never something like I woke up in the morning like wanting to do,
Because you had a very successful business before with
Correct.
real estate and, like you said, but you didn't feel fulfilled.
No.
But when did that kind of switch went off, or what changed in your life to make that kind of move to get off this hamster wheel that is actually working really well,
Yeah.
So how do you make that move? And people who are considering doing that, I'm like quite successful, so why should I even change my career? Yeah, I'm not super happy, but like.
Yeah, I'll be honest. So in 2008, like I had done really, really well at a young age. And then 2000, and I was like heavily invested in real estate, mortgage in the US. And then the 2008 financial crisis happened.
Yeah.
And, in about 60 days, I lost everything almost. And I had to restart. And it was at that time, my spiritual advisor at the time said, hey, I want you to organize a mission trip to Africa. And I thought it was crazy because I'm like, I'm losing everything. I'm in like the worst place. I'm into bankruptcy. I'm in foreclosure. Like I had 7 houses I had foreclosed on me and like cars repossessed. And at that time, it seemed like it was the worst part of my life. But he was insistent, like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. So long story short, I found myself at an orphanage in Uganda. And I kind of had like one of those paradigm shifting moments where I realized that the world wasn't the way that I saw it. I had been seeing it through like this small lens. And even though I was losing everything in the United States and all these assets and my businesses and everything I had worked so hard for, I found myself in the presence of orphans in one of the poorest countries in the world. And it was like the biggest slap in the, like just a big slap across the face. Like, you idiot, because they have nothing. They have no parents. They have no clothes. And here I'm crying because I'm losing all this stuff, but I still have electricity and running water and all this stuff. So it really like shook me to my core. And I knew at that point, I really wanted to do 2 things going forward. One, which is I wanted to travel the world and inspire other people to do that, because had I not left my comfort zone in the US and traveled halfway around the planet, I wouldn't have been able to have that kind of like aha moment, right? Where you just realize that you don't know what you don't know.
Who knew what could have happened to you? When you lost everything, you could have fallen into deep depression. And
Correct.
You never know how the ball would have rolled. But who was the spiritual teacher of yours who kind of guided you to Uganda, or how did you make it to Africa then?
Yeah, so he was a father of a really good friend of ours that we went to high school with, and he kind of just took me under his wing. Me and my dad at that point did not have a great relationship, so he had kind of taken me under his wing, and I needed him, because when I started to lose everything, I was very depressed. I was confused, lost,
Why is this happening?
Yeah, poor me, the whole thing, victim mentality, right? And he was the one that actually told me in the midst of it, like, I said, this is the worst time of my life. And he like stopped me. He's like, no, it's actually the best time of your life. You just are seeing it, very close up. But if you were to step back, you don't know what God's doing in your life. You don't know what's coming next. Some people say God, whoever, the universe, energy.
What do you believe?
Yeah, I believe that there's a creator. I'm not like a religious person per se, but I do think that there is a creator, and we're all connected in some way. And so he just kind of told me like, look, this is the best time in your life. You don't see it now. And like, fast forward 14 years, it actually ended up being that, because I was in a relationship that I didn't want to be in with an abusive partner, right? I hated doing finance because I felt guilty, because literally I have to the more money I make is dependent on me giving someone a worse deal, whether it's an interest rate or their higher payments, right? And I was drinking, I was smoking. Even though I had all of the things that you think that are the American dream, the big house, the boat, the jet skis, the 5 cars. I mean, why do you need 5 cars?
Yeah.
I literally had freaking 5 cars at one point. I'm like, it's so stupid, But I was miserable inside. And I remember there was one time sitting in my house thinking like, okay, I have the big house. I have all this stuff. I have the jewelry. I have the woman. I have and like, there has to be something more to life because I'm not happy.
I should
I should, you know, like everyone, society tells me that this should be happiness.
Another car.
No, and I wasn't. So yeah, I mean, it ended up being a blessing because for about 3 years, I had to figure out what I was going to do next, right? And this is about the time that the movie The Secret dropped, and I started to like really go into that path of like, okay, thoughts are things. I started to like read books on the thought leaders that were part of that movie, and that's when I started to really understand that there was a lot out there I didn't know. And so I started the Instagram page, but it really became like a living daily vision board for me because the name of the page was Luxury World Traveler. And when I started it, I had not yet been to all of these places around the world. So, you know, like when I say it became a passion project, what I did for the first like 3 years is like every Sunday, because I had a normal job, every Sunday night, I would spend 6 hours researching a certain destination. And then I would go on Instagram and I would go online and I would like email hotels and the photographers and I'd try to find, and back then it was just photos. And I would just I was posting 6 to 8 times a day for an entire week.
Wow.
And it became like a travel guide. But I really quickly learned a lot about these countries and a lot of people found value in it. But just by sharing my passion, you know, it kind of took off. And now I wouldn't change it for the world because if I was still doing finance, I'd probably be, you know, 30 kilos heavier and miserable and or maybe divorced. And I was able to like do something that I love and I don't really consider a job. You know, when you're getting flown out to like the Maldives or like Thailand or Bali, it's not, you can consider it work, but you know, I mean, for the most part, I can just show up with my iPhone and do some stories and take some photos and
that's it.
They're happy to have me, you know.
So you don't even need like a crew or someone filming.
I can, but you know,
depends on the deal, I guess.
I'm pretty spoiled.
Yeah,
like I'm very spoiled.
And you already told me you've traveled like what 90 countries now. So where is like the next destination you want to even go, or are you tired?
No, I mean I have slowed down. There are places I still want to go, but you know, like there's a lot of South Africa I haven't explored, South America that I really want to go to. But I've pretty much done all of Europe, all of North America, like all of North America, Central America, the entire Caribbean and Europe I've done, right? So like there's a lot of Africa still, but yeah, like kind of the outlier places. But the places that you see on Instagram on a daily basis, yeah, I've done all the check marks on those ones, yeah.
And what has been like the most memorable place or the best hotel or just what comes to your mind if I tell you that? Because I'm sure there's been plenty and many, but some of your favorite places or hotels.
Yeah, I mean, I have like certain countries that I have gone back to more than others. I really enjoy Mexico. One, because that's mostly where I vacationed even before this, but you know, just there's so much to see and do there. Costa Rica is like one of my favorite in the Central America just because of the people and the lifestyle and everything. And then in Europe, you know, I'd say like Spain, Greece, Italy, or would be my top 3, just because I love the Med in the summer. That's why I'm here in summertime. So I always come to, last 10 years, I come to the Mediterranean for this entire summertime. So, and then I would say like I really enjoy Thailand and Southeast Asia. But like the outlier places, not so much. I don't like big cities, right? And then one place I think I was like extremely impressed by that not a lot of people talk about is a little country called Belize, which is right south of Mexico, and it has the largest natural living barrier reef in the world. Like Australia has the biggest one, but half of it's dead. And so, like, some of the best snorkeling and scuba diving I ever did was there, and it wasn't crowded. That's what I loved about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you get to really experience the best of the best. But has there ever been, like, a nightmare trip? Like, you go, and there's supposed to be some luxury, and then just, you're like, no, guys, this is not it. Things that go wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
but you still got to post about it, or do you not post about it? Like, what do you do?
I've had some incidences where I've gone to a place and so I went to a place, I won't name the hotel, but I was in Mykonos. And the first 5 days, I got hosted by a place called Cabo Tugu, which I'm sure everyone's seen on Instagram now, the cave suites and all that stuff. And it was amazing. And they put me in this diamond villa, which is like 12,000 euros a night. You know, it's got like a pool bigger than most like pools at a hotel. And it's like 5 bedrooms. And, you know, I had a whole crew with me and we brought influencers. And so like, it was like amazing. And then there was another hotel on the other side of the island that invited us. And we went there and it was like what you said. I just walked in and I was like,
I can't even post that.
So I checked in, but they had our bags to bring to the room. So I had the camera guy that was with me go pull the van around the backside of where our room was at. And the girls all jumped out the window and jumped in the van. And as soon as we got the luggage in, we threw it. And then as we were driving, I called the hotel owner of the first place and said, can we come back? And she's like, yeah, come back.
Oh, God.
And then I had to call the general manager of that hotel and I was like, we appreciate it, but just not really on par with the brand. It was, I mean, the rooms were old. There was like, I think one of the girls found like a dead spider in the corner. I mean, you know, just like this kind
luxury.
of stuff. It's not, no. And then we can't post about it. So yeah.
It's not luxury hiker, camper.
Yeah, no.
Do you ever even pay for hotels now? Or when was the last time you paid for a hotel?
Sometimes.
So,
if I didn't want to, the thing is that I'm just so busy all the time. So if I in advance reach out to them, then no.
They're always happy to host you.
Yeah, but most of the time, so that's like 95% of the times. But like recently I was just in Miami and I was there on a work trip. And one of the hotels that I had arranged to stay with sold out because it was Miami Music Week, right? And they told me at the last minute, like, oh, we just sold out. And I was like, okay, no, you know, like, it's for free anyway. So then I needed to find something last minute. So one of my other friends owns a hotel there and it was like high season, but they still made they still were like, okay, we'll just give you like a rack rate, which is like half of what's online. So I paid for like 3 nights like that, but full retail, it's been a long time. But I would say 95% is,
That's a nice perk of your business.
Yes.
And I mean, you've traveled so extensively, but you still chosen Marbella kind of as your European base. That says a lot about Marbella. So tell us why, or like, especially people who haven't traveled that much. You know, I always think like, you know, maybe there is something better out there than Marbella. You know, not that Marbella has it all, but for me, it ticks all the boxes right now.
Yeah.
But why is Marbella your base?
That's a good question. It's been my base for 6 years. So I was consulting for a hotel here, which everyone in this city knows, Puente Hermano. That they've been bringing me over since 2017 to do like influencer activations. I've spoken at their events and I'm pretty good friends with the owner and we do activations at all of his hotels around the world. But he started bringing me here in 2017 and I just immediately fell in love with Marbella because you're right, I've been everywhere and there's a lot of great places to vacation around the world. But most of the places in the world are like very seasonal, right? Where it's like ask anyone from Sweden, for example, you know, or Estonia. Like everyone will be like, it's the greatest place on the earth for like 2 months,
exactly.
right?
July, August.
Yeah. It's great. And then the rest of you, so there's a lot of that. And then there's like a lot of islands and different places where it's nice for 6 months and then they have like a rainy season or it gets cold or there's this and that. But, you know, I'm from Southern California and the reason that has some of the most expensive real estate in the world is because of the weather and the diversity and the microclimates and you have the mountains and you have, you know, the beaches and you have this 300 days of sunshine a year and no humidity. And so like that makes it very desirable. And what I found interesting is when I came to Marbella, it was like a mini version of that, you know, like the weather is great year round. They do have the Mediterranean, but unlike LA, and I tell people this all the time, in 2 hours in any direction, it's a whole new world. Like if you go an hour west, you have Tarifa and the only sand dunes in all of southern, beautiful. Europe. It's beautiful. You have Ronda an hour away where you can get into the vineyards and the olive orchards.
Which is like the new Provence, they say. Because there's like 5 new vineyards every year. I'm such a fan of Ronda.
I love it. It's one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah, I could also retire there, have a vineyard.
That's my goal.
I'll be your neighbor.
That's my
We can share
goal. I
wine.
want to buy a finca up there.
I
and
actually have an amazing finca for sale there.
Really?
That was supposed to be like me and my partners, but a friend actually bought it, and now he's selling it. So
let's
I'll
talk
actually
about that
link it,
afterwards.
and I'll share it with you because it's a beautiful, beautiful finca. I mean, it has a lot of. You need to redo it, but the views are insane. Location is insane. Honestly, it has an olive. Already like olive trees, so you can get
That's exactly
olive oil.
Oh my gosh!
Like, if you get that, I'll be so happy.
Yeah, no,
It's
I mean,
really. I think
Ronda's special.
I think it's really on the growing phase now, so I think it's a good time to invest in the fincas and that. And where do you see luxury going? You're so into luxury hotels, but obviously also you're staying in villas, and you know so much about real estate. Where do you see luxury going now, and what is like luxury moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Luxury travel has really, in luxury in general, is the definition of it is changing now. I think we're in a place and time where people are really becoming a lot more aware of what's going on as a whole, and they're also becoming a lot more aware of themselves as an individual. You know, it's the first time ever that consumer behavior is changing faster than it ever has before. And so in the luxury sector, you know, COVID really had a big impact on luxury travel because those that could afford it now really started to move into doing like luxury private jets instead of like flying first class. And the villa market, the private villa market exploded, right? Vacation villas exploded because, you know, and like me, I don't like to stay at these mega hotels that have 300, 400, 500 people there. You know, like once you've traveled enough, boutique luxury hotels or private villas is like exactly what I want. I don't want crowds. I don't want, you know, buffets. Like this to me is not luxurious. So that's why I think it's moving. And then also travel's become a lot more intentional for people, right? And that's really the luxury. The future of luxury is like really purpose driven now. A lot of people are doing deep dives on themselves. They're understanding that there's a lot out there they don't know about. You know, a lot of people are dedicated to like elevating their consciousness and really like understanding that we're more than just this, you know, meat and, you know, flesh and bones, that we actually have different layers to us. And so one of the projects that I'm really excited right now is I'm working with a very affluent family in the United States that owns 6 large pieces of land which happen to have real estate on them. And we are doing, we're going to start this company that does like high-end retreats at these places, but that are like purpose driven with the intention of bringing facilitators and coaches and mentors and using other like plant-based medicines and you know, like non-traditional modalities like Kundalini and energy healing, because now you can actually descend on a place that's located in a specific area that is unlike other areas, right? Energetically, like I would say the closest one here that everyone would know about would be like Esvedra in Ibiza, where it's like the second most magnetic place in the world, right? And that's why you have a lot of that kind of culture living there. But, you know, we have demand now from CEOs and senators and presidents and, you know, celebrities and even like the most important people that have like done all the traveling, seen everything, have everything. They're still miserable, right? They still like, because, and I know to people that don't have money, believe me, I used to be one of those when they're like, oh, you have the house, you have the car, they're like, I would be happy. And I'm like, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, for
right?
5 minutes. I mean, yeah, like I'm also, we have to be grateful to have food, and we are privileged to be living where we are. But like you said, you've lived it, you've experienced it. Having it all doesn't mean that just having the 5 cars is going to make you happy. Because I guess it's also wanting it probably for the wrong reasons. Like if you couldn't post it on Instagram, would you still buy that car? You know, I always think like that. Or if you couldn't show it to your neighbor, would you still buy that car? Because a lot of the times I think we're just trying to show people that we don't really need their validation or opinion, don't we? But Instagram makes it look like we do. So I think that's also one of the dangers.
And I know so many people on Instagram that have a lot of followers because that's my world.
Yeah.
And like what you see on their Instagram and who they are behind closed doors is completely different. And this is also a problem because, you know, like you said, making the money is not what's ever going to fulfill that empty spot that lives in every single person, right? It's the purpose. And this is what a lot of people are discovering, is that like without purpose, there's no amount of sex, drugs, travel, cars, watches, anything, there's nothing material that's ever going to fill that. And you can talk to anyone that's extremely wealthy that doesn't have a purpose, and I can guarantee you, even I don't even met them, they're miserable, because you think once you have everything, that's it. But then you still have this like hole that lives within inside of you. And so one of the reasons we're doing this project in the US is because there's so many of these people that actually have the ability to impact the masses, right? And make change. And they're searching for purpose. They're looking for something deeper because they have everything materially, but they're still miserable. So that's one of the things I'm like really passionate about. And you're saying, what's the future of luxury? Like, I think it's helping people to discover a purpose, and then being able to go out and do something in that field that fulfills them. I've just felt lucky enough that I was able to, like I had a life-changing event happen while I was traveling in Africa. So for the last 12 years, I've tried to inspire as many people to travel the world to do that. And I feel like that has helped me with a purpose. And then I've also mentored 250 other individuals on how to do exactly what I did. And when you have that purpose, you feel complete. But without that, you will always be looking for something. And you can't even find it in your partner. Like people that are married, like you may have the perfect partner, but like they can't even fulfill that. Having kids can't fulfill that. You really need to like do a deep dive. And I think this is where a lot of people get stuck, because they're, it's hard to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and not look away, right? I mean, I think we've all been there before. Yeah.
Well, but still, I think it's an ongoing journey. But do you feel like you found your purpose?
Yeah, I do. And like I said, 3 years ago, I had been to a lot of places, and I had done a lot when it comes to traveling, working with tourism boards and brands and influencers and stuff like that. But I wrote a book last year that's kind of falls on that line, and it's called Rewire to Rise. And it's like tools and modalities that I've used to really take control of my mind, which enables you to take control of your life, right? Because like I said, I discovered that there's more out there than I was taught. I was brought up in a very strict Christian household, and if it wasn't Jesus, it was the devil. Like it's a fine line,
I also went to the church as a kid, so I know. I was even terrified of the devil, to be honest. If I don't know, if I do something bad, I'm gonna burn in hell. I have this image in my head, as a child.
Correct.
Which of course I know that is not the truth now. I mean, there's a lot of good things that came out of the church, all the morals, and we did lots of beautiful things too. We were singing and doing beautiful things, but it was a bit scary how you had to live like this, and if you just don't live like this, you're basically going to die in hell. It's like, well, I'm not in hell.
Yeah. And I came from a strict household, and my mom still goes to church 3 times a week, and God bless her. I actually, as part of my spiritual deep dive and journey, I had to sit her down and be like, I love you. I will always love you. You know that Jesus is here, and you're like right there. Like you'll always be that to me. But I just don't believe what you believe now, and it needs to be okay. And I will never, I don't try to change her. I don't try to send her any of the books or any of the. I just leave her on her path, because for her it feels it works, right? But for me, I just found too many discrepancies in what I was being taught. And then as someone who is also a history minor, and I'm a big history buff, this is why I love traveling. When you have traversed the world, and you've seen everything that I've seen, and you've met people that I've met, you quickly realize that a lot of what you were taught and within the constraints of this box of religion is not true. And so, my goal is to really help as many people realize that they have way more potential than they know about, and give them the different tools and modalities that will help them to break free of this, you can call it matrix, or you can call it program, whatever we're in, because I think it's a lot of unnecessary suffering, and a lot of people sell themselves short, and it's unfortunate, but as someone who and manifestation, such a woo-woo word. I don't really like it, but people use it all the time. But as someone who's like manifested a dream career and like whose parents were poor and has, now has an Instagram and everyone can see it. It's one thing, a lot of people talk, but then to actually see it like there, you want to help as many people to be able to do that as possible, because like we live in an abundant universe and there is no scarcity, but like all these things we've been taught by like our education and religion and politics and even your parents who don't even know any better make you see the world in a certain way, and that doesn't mean that that's the way the world is.
Definitely. And I guess travel is something that you would recommend to people who are a little bit stuck in their lives or not sure what to do, no purpose, right?
Absolutely. Because going back to my story, like had I not traveled to Africa and like totally out of, like it might as well be another planet, an orphanage, third world country, completely out of my comfort zone, but sometimes it takes that for adults to realize or have a paradigm shifting moment, to realize like they don't know what they don't know, or oh my God, I thought life was this and it's really this, right? And so like in that moment when I was in that orphanage, I felt all the layers of the onion being peeled off of me, right? And then I saw the world with fresh eyes, and then you want everyone else to do that. But we've been so programmed, like we don't understand, but we've been so programmed since we're little. And if you show me anybody and like where they grew up, I can already tell you who they are, right? You become a product of what your parents are, your religion, your politics, your schooling. And this is why certain ethnic people have certain traits. It's not because they're all the same. It's because
this is how they've been raised.
This is exactly how they've been programmed to be, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think I love Marbella so much, because here I feel people who travel and come to live here, these are the people that are more open-minded and more accepting of cultures and religions and whatever it is that you do and believe in. So this is also one of the reasons I started Marbella Live, to show people the variety of the people we have here. And we have more and more amazing people traveling to Marbella, because it's such a mix of cultures. And yeah, it's really not Spain. I feel like we're living in a bit of a bubble here, but it's a beautiful bubble, because
it is,
because that's what also I choose to surround myself with, exciting people who help me expand my mind and see things differently. I really like to meet people from another culture to understand, because I'm the same, like, because I was raised with a Christian, going to church and all that. I do think every religion has something beautiful and great things to learn. I just don't think I need to put myself into a box of being a Christian or a Buddhist or that. I'd love to study all of them and then make a mix for yourself, what feels good for you, no?
Yeah.
And how are you? You have a son, right?
2.
You have 2.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when people ask me that question. So I have a 25-year-old who lives in Las Vegas, and I have a 2-year-old.
That's crazy.
So there was kind of a gap there.
Yeah, I can see that.
2 different moms, obviously. Yeah, exactly. So we're actually having the 2-year-old's birthday this Saturday.
Oh,
here in
congratulations.
Marbella. Thank you. I know. He's so big now.
He's going to get a cool childhood traveling around.
He is going to have a very interesting childhood. Yeah, he's going to get to see the world, which is like, I think, the best education that kids can have, I mean, it's getting back to your point, like I say that international traveling is something that everyone should do, and at a young age, right? Because nobody could pick who their parents are, right or wrong. None of us can pick who our parents are or where we're born.
Yeah.
So when you travel as much as I do, you realize that like having a certain idea or stigma or prejudice against people on the other side of the world, you never having gone there, you not knowing them, and them having the same with you is like the highest level of ignorance there is. Because what I've learned traveling the world is that like people have way more in common than we've been led to believe. I've been to all these countries, Muslim countries, where people told me, oh, and then I go there and I'm like, they're amazing, they're beautiful, they're so welcoming. I go to Asian countries, same thing. I go to Eastern European countries, even if we don't like have the same background, like when you interact with local people in different countries, I've never had a bad experience. And so I'm thinking like, most of what I've been taught is bullshit, right? So why should I carry any of this stuff around with me? That it's not mine to begin with, right? I'm carrying all this prejudice. It's not mine. And like, it's been one of the most liberating things for me, because growing up Christian, you know, it's like, if you're gay, then if you're Muslim, then if you're like anything other than just this like unobtainable image of what they portray one person walk the earth to be, it's bullshit, you know. And all it does is put people into fear, which, if you know, energy is like the lowest vibrational state you can be in. So like, if you want to control people, then you create a story and you put them in a box, and if they don't do that, then they live in a continual fear their whole life, which limits their ability to actually become anything great, right? And this is what's really, really sad. So I think travel is one of the only things that you can do as an adult, traveling internationally, to get you to see the world in a different way. Because once you're like 30, you've been programmed to be who you're going to be. There's very little chance you're going to change your opinion about anything, right? But if you travel, it can really break you down. And then once you understand, and for me, that's what kind of helped me to unravel like this whole belief around Christianity. And then I started to like study quantum physics and energies and chakras. And now it wasn't woo-woo, and the Eastern way of medicine, preventative, made more sense than the Western, you know. And then once that snowball starts going, then I feel like it's your responsibility to find your own truth and not listen to anyone around you, right? Because like, that's really the only thing that you can do for yourself that's true. Anything else is just opinions of others. And from my experience, that was not a happier life for me.
But it's so fascinating to hear you talk about all these things, which I'm so into myself, all these quantum, and you know, I love Joe Dispenza, and I'm so like fascinated. And even the psychedelics, where is that going to go and take us to, you know, expand our awareness, and are we even alone, or what kind of dimension are we living in? I find it so fascinating.
It is.
So could this be the future of luxury world travelers, some holistic,
we're
conscious
heading there right
traveling?
now. Yeah, we're actually heading there right now.
Wow.
So that project in the US is one of them. Like I said, I wrote a book. I'm working on my second one. And that's
where can people get the book?
Amazon, you can get it. There's a link in my bio on Instagram where they can just download it. Yeah, like the first one I'm just giving away because I don't need the money from it. It's like more of a stepping stone for them to understand, like, you know, what can I do to like make a change in my life? And so the book is really about the first 20 minutes of your day and the last 20 minutes, like why it's so important. And then it has a lot of scientific research on that supports that, based on like where your brain waves are at, and you know, the understanding like your conscious and subconscious mind, and where that power, you know, the subconscious mind has 99% of the power, and conscious mind is 1%. So there's a window right before you go to sleep and right when you wake up, where you can actually program your subconscious mind. And like,
you're
this
talking
is
my language.
Yeah.
I'm like, amen, amen. People listen.
Yeah, no, I mean,
tell me, walk me through your day. Like, is that how you start every day? You wake up and you meditate. What do you do?
Okay, so well. Then what happens is, like, once you see the results, then you become like obsessive about it. Really, I don't care where I'm traveling. I don't care where I'm at. The first 20 minutes of my day and the last 20 minutes, I do the same thing every day. And anyone that's with me can attest to that. That like I do that, and they're doing it with me. You know, because
so what is it?
Well, so even in the morning, I have recorded my own ringtone that I put onto my phone, because when you understand you're coming out of, you know, a sleep and your REM cycle and you're being woken up, the worst thing you can do is have an alarm be like,
annoying.
I mean, and if you understand that first 15 to 20 minutes, you understand why it's even 1,000 times worse. So I have a ringtone that wakes me up, and it says something to the effect of like, "Good morning, beautiful soul. You're going to have an amazing day today." It's got 432 hertz music behind it. So that's the first thing I hear every single morning. And then immediately I already have on my phone a meditation that I've recorded and I've written, and that also has, I think, 528 hertz behind it. And it's a 10-minute like guided meditation that really sets the intention for the day and really helps to like put you in that spot, because what most people do on a daily basis is they wake up because their alarm, so now they're in the state of like agitation, and then they'll reach for their phone to turn it off, and they immediately go into doom scrolling, or this bill's due, or this is past due, and so that's bad. But in that first 15 minutes, because your subconscious mind is still like not fully in control, but pretty much in control, and the if you look at like the difference between like delta, beta, and alpha waves, what we go through every single day is like low vibrational. But in that state, you're actually, it's like one of the most powerful times. So whatever you see first is going to really dictate what happens. And if that is a daily thing, which is a weekly thing, which is a monthly thing, which is a yearly thing, then, you know, by logic or deductive reasoning, which most people don't use anymore, that's like literally dictating the where your life is going to go. So if you can just give yourself 30, 40 minutes a day, which everybody should, right? It has the ability to really shift where your life goes. And so that's what I do every single day. Then I get up and I do like stretching, you know, loosen up the body. Sometimes I do Tai Chi or, you know, Qigong, or I'll just move the arms, but everything. But once it becomes a habit, then you don't want to stop. And so I wrote the book because this is the thing that I want to do. So like for the last like 10 months, I've done this every single day myself. And like, we can do that in another podcast. But what's happened to me in the last 10 months financially with opportunities has been like
insane.
Just, I mean, and this is what people don't understand. Like like, I'll ask you this question, right? Morally, do you know a lot of people that are morally good? Maybe they go to church, maybe they don't, but that are good people, right? Do you know a lot of people that are hardworking? Get up every morning, they go to a job they hate, okay. How many of them are rich?
Yeah, not many.
None.
No.
So there's no correlation between being a good moral person and working hard and the amount of money you got. Now, do you know rich people that are assholes? Be honest.
Let's be honest,
Okay, let's be honest. So,
I mean,
right
not
there,
to generalize, but yes.
But I think if you ask everyone this, they will all say the same answers. So once you understand that there's no correlation between being a good person and working hard and how much money you have, then you understand that, like, okay, maybe I don't know something that's going on. And so what, as humans, we're missing out on is that, like, because of, when you understand, like, everything that made you who you are, especially until you were, like, through high school, your education has been set up a certain way so that you never really use your mind, you just memorize facts. Your political systems are set to keep you down. Your religion is set to keep you in a state of fear. Like, all of these things were created by the richest people in the world, and they all have the same thing running. So you have a lot of things coming up against you. Then you have thousands of years of programming. So your parents were taught this, your grandparents were taught this. They were like, but if a lie was told 3,000 years ago, it doesn't make it truth today, right? So a lot of people don't want to break free of, like, what their parents told them or what their parents do out of a sign of respect. But they were lied to as well, right? So when you, like, come out of this matrix and you see it for what it is, you realize that, like, there's something else that they're not teaching us, and then it really becomes your responsibility to learn that, or stay where you're at. And most people don't want to stay where they're at, right? They're looking for a better life. They want more money. They want a better partner. They want opportunities. But when I teach this to people, I said, you know, when I was, the first round, when I made the millions when I was young, it was kind of a product of being in the right place, right time. I worked hard, but the amount of money I made was also always a direct result of how much time and effort I put in. But I was only using my conscious mind. The second you tap into your subconscious and you understand that, like, that's 1,000 times more powerful than this, now the amount of money and opportunities that come to me have nothing to do with how hard I work, how good of a person. It's because I'm programmed to it, and so they come this way instead of going that way. And that's when it's really quite interesting, because every day I wake up to a message on my phone now, and it's just like
something
exciting. I mean, this morning I just woke up to a message on my phone this morning. This guy's like, hey, we went through the information you sent you, bro. One, I need a private jet, so can someone on your team book me a private jet, like, you know, from Ibiza to Madrid and back again? And secondly, we went through your deck and we would just love to invest in your company. When can we set up a call to do that?
Great. So someone
Has
offering
nothing
you
to
money.
do. Yeah, exactly.
It's like money's coming
but
in.
it's like this. It just keeps happening. Like, and Marie could tell you, before when I was back in the U.S. and I'm like, all right, I'm coming back to Europe. I started looking at Airbnbs and I'm like, you know what? Why am I doing that? Like, I'm going to be in a villa. You know, I'm going to. So like, that was my intention for 2 days. The day after, my friend called me, Derek, where at his house I'm staying at. He's like, hey, I heard you're coming back to Marbella. I'm like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm going to do this and that. And he's like, well, I want to pick up on this project that we had. He's like, well, where are you staying? I'm like, I haven't picked out yet. He's like, take my villa. Just take it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? It had nothing to do with me on the phone calling,
like
using my page, desperate, like stress.
Careful.
You see the difference?
Yeah, totally.
It was just being intentional, and all of a sudden he's like, take it. And if you've seen my Instagram and see where I'm at, like,
it's like check out. I mean,
has nothing to do with anything.
Insane.
It's
the
insane.
Master bedroom that you stay in is bigger than this whole place. It's insane. You probably do a reel on your Instagram because the stories will be gone by the time the podcast's out. But yeah, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, I'll definitely do some stuff.
Insane.
But it's like that every day now.
No,
I've
I've witnessed that in my life, not at this scale, but I mean, crazy things have happened to me. And then I also tried to think back, and I was thinking, what was I doing at this point of time? And I've been doing the same, meditating morning, evening, trying to just be out of the unconscious, just more aware, just more conscious of my feelings, of my reactions, just try to get my frequency higher, not to get into the angry at the cards and angry at people. And just, yeah, it's crazy, but magical things happen. And it's like, but then they call them like woo woo or this. That's how they like. Woo is like if it's one person, but I feel like this is happening to more and more people, and you are sharing it, and you know that's why it's helping so many people. Because if they try it out, they'll see. Well, it will happen to them too.
Yeah,
you know?
And I tell people like, well, what do you have to lose?
Yeah,
you know, exactly. Because like,
and how much is this from your time? Like you said, it's 10 minutes. Start with 5 minutes, you know.
But you know what? We've been programmed so much. Most people would rather just complain about what they don't have than actually invest time, energy, and effort into themselves to get what they would have. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
But that's literally how much you've been programmed. Is that like it's easier to complain. It's easier to share memes on Instagram with friends about being broke and about all this crap that you don't want. And like, again, where your attention goes, energy flows. So unconsciously, they just keep feeding this wheel and they never get what they want. And then they wonder why, you know, but then they like to complain about it. But then when you say, hey, can you dedicate 15 minutes to yourself? Like, it's like they don't have really, but how many times are you doing this, you know, and seeing the same shit every day and sending it to the same people and getting nothing out of it, right? Yeah. Well,
so how do you teach your children? Like you said, you know, you are so aware of this programming. What do you think of, let's say your son is so young now, but will you even put him into the school system?
No.
Will you homeschool?
No, he will not go to school. I was just talking about this the other day. He will not go. My 2-year-old will never see public school, not one day. And if that means I can't live in Spain because they have a law you can't homeschool, then so be it, you know? Oh, no. Because there's just, I mean, he'll get a social interaction, but like when you understand that like 98% of what you're taught in school from the time you're 5 till 12 means nothing. And especially now with the rise of AI, which I'm heavily into, like there's no for what? Read? You don't even have to write anymore. I mean, when's the last time you wrote?
I think writing is actually good for your brain.
It is, but like
good to keep it
read,
alive,
write, and basic arithmetic, and like nothing else that you're taught you need.
Yeah, I'm at this place that my kids are 4 and 7, so I'm really happy with the school because it's a little bit Montessori way, which is so great. And they give the kids more freedom to choose the corner, art, math, you know, what they like. But I'm the same. Like once they have the reading, writing, and basic maths down, I'm like, let's see what school is going to open here. And I do feel like something's going to happen in Marbella about that too, because people are not happy with the school systems. AI is coming in. Things are moving too fast. The school system education system is not changing fast as as we need to. So like, what's next? World schooling, probably homeschooling groups. I think something's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Well,
to see.
Look at all these jobs that are being replaced with AI.
So let's talk about AI and your fascinating new project, I'm sure. I mean, you have a whole new podcast actually about it, which I'm very happy to link as well, because you go deep in it. But let's touch a bit on the project as well.
Yeah, so about 3.5 years ago, I was approached by Meta, who was putting together kind of like a board to try to figure out, like, travel is the number one talked and shared about subject on Instagram and all social media combined, right? Because it's so universal and it transcends politics, religion, sexual preference, but all these biases, because anyone in the world would love to be on a white sand beach in the Maldives with their lover at sunset, enjoying a romantic dinner. Whether they're gay, straight, it doesn't matter, age, it doesn't, everyone wants that. Okay, so this is why I travel. But the problem is that you see something on Instagram that you like, you maybe save it to a folder, you screenshot it, you send it to your girlfriend, your husband, your wife. But then when you go to book it, you're going online or you're calling a travel agent. So, you know, the thing is like, if it's the number one talked and shared subject, but nobody's monetized it, like, how do you close that bridge? So we were asked to take on a project and actually build like a digital concierge that goes on Instagram in the DMs. And I picked a hotel in Dubai and we built this thing out, and I didn't know, I was never a tech guy. I was the travel guy and I was the finance guy.
Yeah, how did you get into it?
Yeah.
It just came to you, I guess. Yeah.
So no, I found people that were the tech guys, and I'm just like, all right, this is our project, let's build it, right? And so, but I wanted to see it come to fruition, so I spent a lot of time with them. And so we built this thing out and it worked. It was on a platform called ManyChat, which I know a lot of people have heard of. It's like it's good for some things, but it's like
too basic.
It is just, it's really too old. So, and when that was done, we got a license from Meta to build our own. So then me and my team built a digital concierge for hotels that is AI-based, speaks every language, runs 24/7, and basically knows everything about the hotel, can make you, can show you menus, can show you hours of operation, photo carousels of rooms, photo carousels of restaurants, all this stuff. It's the future. And so people can actually start transacting on Instagram. So that was the goal, and booking rooms. So that was the first project that's still going. We have hundreds of hotels around the world that are using it, and like more coming. I'm actually speaking at the Travel Tech Conference here in Fuengirola on June 8th to 10th as a keynote about travel. This all falls under the guise of Travel 4.0, which is the fourth iteration of travel. And Travel 4.0 is really like, how do you create a better consumer travel experience using the latest technologies and social media and creating that bridge, right? Like, this is what it is. Like, how do you now take the number one place people are inspired and like blockchain, AI, and the Internet of Things, and like merge them so it's a seamless customer experience. So that's what we do. So if you go on any of our clients' Instagrams or like any of their, you can send them a DM in any language, a voice note in any language, and you can basically find out anything you want to do there and book rooms and get better deals and all of that. And so like, that's the future.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a no-brainer, I think, for the hotels.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you say no? Unless it's crazy expensive, but I doubt that.
It's not crazy expensive.
Yeah,
so
but the return is probably...
it pays for itself.
That's
like
amazing.
really, kind of right away. But also like anyone that knows business knows that data is king. So you're collecting, I mean, you can literally have a conversation with every single person that walks through your hotel and know that like this lady loves spas and this guy likes to play golf and this man over here loves steaks and this woman, wants a room for her dog, and all these things are important.
Yeah.
That's what creates customer loyalty. So we have that running. Secondarily, now I'm a partner in another company where you can basically, as an extension of that software, because I've been everywhere and I have all these relationships, you can create a custom vetted itinerary to any of the places that we feature online with like 6 taps of a button. It's all done with AI. So you basically say like when you want to go, who you're coming with, what your budget is, what you're into, wellness, foodie, adventure, chill, And it's really easy because it's just tapping buttons. And then after you tap like 5 or 6 buttons, hit enter, it'll just create a custom itinerary for you, like every single day with all these vetted places. And so people don't have to think about it, right? And I don't know how many times a month I get asked, Gil, I'm going to Positano. What was the trip you did? Or I'm going to Mykonos. What did you do? Like, I want to do the exact same thing you did when you went to New York. Like, because, you know, they know that I don't travel badly and like they're going to eat well and they're going to stay well. And da-da. So this is just like an extension of me, but they can just tap and like create an itinerary and do that. And actually this week, I'm launching my 3rd AI project in travel. I know, it's crazy. Stop. I don't stop. So this one I'm really passionate about because it's quite interesting. So in the private jet industry, right? Anytime someone books a private jet, 4 flights are created, right? So for example, if I want to go from Malaga to Ibiza, the jet picks us up in Malaga, flies us to Ibiza, but the jet can't stay in Ibiza. So then it has to fly back to Malaga. So on that return flight, there's nobody on the flight, right?
The empty leg ones.
The empty legs. And then it goes back to Ibiza to pick you up. There's nobody on that one. And then it goes back. So there's a 1.5 million of these flights per year worldwide that have no people on them. And the reason why is because the data has been fragmented all around the world. It's usually in like little local offices here, there, and everywhere. And there's some bigger companies that have it. But for the most part, it's not available. It's not available online. People have to like fill out their information and then like a broker will call them back or like whatever. So this is how it's been done in the highest form of luxury travel there is. It's still manual. So for the last 10 months, me and my team have developed an AI software that's basically gone out and grabbed 80% of all this data, which is in different languages, on different spreadsheets, on different I mean, it's like some people sketch, you know, it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And we've aggregated all of it into a way that now the AI can then take all of that, format it all into one custom format and deliver it to consumers in a forward-facing way. But instead of designing an app, we got it Meta approved and approved on other social media. So it's approved on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Telegram, WhatsApp, or you can do it on the web. And you can basically say like, hey, I'm in Malaga. I'm going to Ibiza. I want to go to Ibiza. Show me all the empty legs that are leaving in the next 72 hours. Or I'm in LA and I want to go to Miami. Show me everything. And so no one's been able to do this because, I won't get into it, but there's levels of background checks and this and Interpol and FBI and FAA, this and that. But we're actually testing it right now, and by next week it should be ready to go.
Whoa.
And that one will be a lot of fun because, there's so many people that will utilize this. Just like the guy that hit me up today. He's like, hey, is the thing ready? Because I need to go.
Yeah. And it's also not as expensive then, is it? I think it's quite, like I work with a private jet company as well. So I actually was quite surprised how actually it can be quite affordable, especially if you're sharing it with a group of friends. So it's not as like unreachable, as sometimes people think that private jet, oh my God, it's $1 million.
Exactly, it's not. And the closer it gets to the date that the plane needs to leave, the lower the price, because obviously either they're going to get some money for it or no money.
Nothing,
but to be able to provide this to consumers on social media platforms they already use is the key, right? Because then we can try to fill as many of those flights up as possible. And if we just do 1 or 2% of those flights, then we'll be good. So
cool. That's a cool project. So watch out for
it's fun. Yeah, very fun.
Your Instagram as you share the updates. But talking about social media and all the different platforms, where do you also see social media going? And obviously it's changed so much since you started. Like you said, it was a lot easier to grow a page. Now with the AI content coming in and all of that, and also so many people are now creating all these travel videos, and they have drones and things, and where do you see it going, and what are the next trends?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think content creators, like travel content creators, have a very small window now. Like it's literally, I give it like another year and they're done. Because on the backside, we were contacted by a company that represents the 8 largest AI generation models. That's like Gronk, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, blah. And these companies right now, nobody knows this, but behind the scenes, these companies are buying as much raw travel data, photos and videos as humanly possible. All the stuff that you don't know. So anyone that does film or if a photographer knows that like 99% of whatever you ever take never gets used, right? Because it gets edited and this and that, especially if you're shooting long form video. Like, we'll fly drones forever, this and that, and then now you create what, a 20-second video, and you have all this stuff. So they're buying as much as they can get their hands on. Why? Because if someone says, or a hotel says, or whatever, a tourism board says, I need a video of Puente Romano at sunset from a drone angle in May with people on the beach, like, and you hit enter, they want it to be as realistic as possible. And so if you can do that, there's no reason to go hire a drone pilot, hire actors, directors, editors, like, it's just done. So content creators are pretty much going to be, I mean, their window is closing fast. And now even like the biggest, I think Zuckerberg's the one that came out and said that like social media now is no longer social media. It's now info media. So the days of pretty pictures and fake life and beautiful, it's all gone. Like 2 years ago, it was no one cares. Now, everyone has words on videos, words on photos. Like for travel creators, that was like unheard of 5 years ago. It was just supposed to be like this fake, perfect But the thing is like we've seen it all now. Yeah. Everyone knows what the Maldives looks like. Everyone knows that we've seen it all. There's nothing new. 10 people can go to the same place. It's like, it's not interesting. What's interesting is like top 5 reasons why you should go to this hotel during this time. So it's all information based. So even on our page, a lot of what you'll see is like, has text on words and, you know, because that's all that you follow now. And if you look at your algorithm, your friends and family and like your closest people, you'll never even see them pop up on your feed, maybe on their stories. Everything that's popping up is like, if you like healthy foods, you're getting that stuff. If you like travel tips, you're getting that stuff. You know, like if this is all you're getting, and it's all become informational based. So like, now the only way people can survive is by like, I feel like really micro niching down what they're experts in and delivering that kind of content, but it's all info based. The days of like this inspirational is it's sad, but it's gone. You know, so that's like literally where it's going.
And yourself, like, do you, of course, hopefully you don't doom scroll, but what do you consume, or what kind of accounts do you like, or do you not like, you just post and you just leave it? And
like I even on my personal page, I don't really post. I mean, I'm doing so many things, like, and again, I've done this for 12 years, right? I think our main page is posted like 8,000 times. So for me, you know, like we run the page, the big page, just because that's where our clients come from. But, you know, like on my personal page, if you were to look at like what I'm looking at, it's all like enlightenment pages, quantum physics. It's spirituality. It's all spirituality. It's I mean,
I'm excited. I feel like you have a new account coming. Like,
yeah, I mean, I have a channel that's called Rewire to Go Higher, but I haven't been really active there. But that will be the next iteration of what I do. Is like cool. Really teaching this stuff.
I'd love to help you manage the page if you ever need.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you.
Unless AI is going to probably do it, but I'm really into that subject, and I believe also that I meet people who are interested in that. And it's funny. I think every guest or every second guest kind of has this similar ideas and beliefs that I do. So, and I don't obviously pick my guests just because you like meditation. You know, I didn't even know that about you. So I do believe that we're supposed to meet people at the right time in our lives to take us to the next level.
Absolutely.
4.0.
Yeah, no, and I think like this new project that I'm working on, it's not done. I kind of told you a little bit about it. It's going to be a lot of those types of people. I mean, that's who I like to hang out with now anyway. Yeah. Most of the people that I hang out with are like in that sphere. Like all my other friends have like dropped off. And and it sounds sad, but like if you, like birds of a feather, right? Yeah. And so like if you love the Kardashians and you love all this bullshit TV and you're like just super programmed and you're like a drone walking through life and you don't give a shit, like that's great. And I have zero prejudices now, you know, especially as from traveling, I've let go of everything. But it's just like, I'm not going to give you my time and energy just not something, because I know exactly, I get nothing out of it, you know, like I like to have these types of conversations. I like to work with people that have a purpose, that want to do something bigger, that, you know, are trying to make the world a better place. And if that's not who you are, it's fine. But then we don't really have much in common, you know?
You can choose where you put your time and where you invest your time.
Correct.
Time is money in the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
And taking valuable amount of time. But I actually, just a random maybe question, but you were saying like you were waking up with this personalized alarm, meditation. I'm wondering if there's such a hotel who's doing anything like that?
There's certain hotels that are like that in Tulum. There's some in like Bali that have like 432 hertz, 528 playing around there. And a lot of them are hosting a lot of these kinds of retreats. But so I think
that's upcoming.
It's
thing,
coming.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much out there that we just don't know about, you know? And like they call it like, and then if you believe in this and you're actually doing it, then you get coined as like conspiracy theorist or woo-woo this, or you're a witch, or you're this. And it's like, you know, the universe is such a huge place, and there's so much going on, right? But at the very end of it, you know, and especially when you're talking about like religion versus like science, which is this, it's going to be here forever. But if you ask like a priest, it's a Christian priest or a Catholic priest, like who is God, right? God always is, always was, always will be. He's everywhere. He's omnipresent. He knows everything, right? That's God. Okay, can't be created or destroyed. He was the first thing. He made everything. Okay, great. And you ask like a quantum physicist, well, what's energy? Always was, always is, can't be created or destroyed. The law of thermodynamics is energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just gets like, you know, changed, right? Is everywhere, is omnipresent. So the very definition of God and energy is the exact same thing. And, you know, like when you look back and even look at like society now, like who makes the rules? The rich people. Who controls religion? The rich people. Well, that's how it was way back when, right? So like when you understand that, then you have to really question even the own religion that you're brought up with. Doesn't mean you don't respect your parents. Just means that like maybe there's something that you don't know about, right? Because these two things have the exact same definition, but one is put into this box and one is just everything. So that's kind of, when I realized that was kind of like what led me into, once you understand everything's energy, and then people like Tesla talk about, you know, everything, think of the universe in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And now they have these microscopes that have looked at like atoms at the very, like, it's like as far in as you can zoom, and 98% of it's empty, and what is in there is moving. So, and we're made up of atoms, so basically we're mostly empty space that's vibrating. Then, you know, you really start to understand why certain music is important, why your thoughts and your emotions are extremely important, because this is shaping who you are and the way your life goes. Or you can just pray to a God, it could be any God you want, for the rest of your life, be a good person and work hard. But most of the people that go down that path don't live a fulfilled life.
But what do you think is, let's say, the rich people's agenda to kind of program us?
Well, I mean, if you control the world, you never want to relinquish that power. So, like, if you look at the U.S., J.D. Rockefeller, who was the richest guy in the world, he created the entire educational platform through the United States. He created the entire medical association for the United. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see where this is going?
Yeah.
You know, and like if you look at even the Bible, there was 18 books that were removed. No one knows why at the Council of Nicaea, and this has all been proven, right? And so, like when you really go into the rabbit hole and you like look for the clues and the facts, you'll understand that like a lot of what you've been taught is bullshit. Yeah,
and I think that's scary for a lot of people, and that's why they rather hold on to their reality as they know it, because like you said, like, oh my God, everything that I've actually known and studied is a lie. And that's a really scary thing to become aware of.
It was for me too. But, I realized that, like, especially from traveling, stand at the base of the pyramids and tell me that man made those, please. Or in Machu Picchu, or some of these places, and you're just like, I have a brain still, I can make my own assumptions on like what's going on here. Like a lot of this is like, okay, well maybe there's something that we're not being told. And when you talk to the locals in all these different places, they all have this histories that have been passed down that talk about people coming down from the star everywhere, people descending from the stars with knowledge and this and that. And so, like, you know, it's either that this is all bullshit, or, you know, maybe there was a different agenda to try to control the world. And so, yeah, like, I just think it's, once you understand it and you break free of it, it's almost your responsibility to pass along the knowledge to people. Now, whether what they do with it or if they actually listen to you is up to them. But once you no longer, like for me, I don't have like a lot of emotional triggers anymore. Like I don't flip out. If someone cuts me off on the freeway, I don't flip them off and start like, once you get out of that, it's so liberating and free. And I just tell everybody now, like in my life, I'm like, I just want peace, you know? And I've gotten rid of everyone in my life that didn't bring me peace. All the business partners, like even I turned down a deal a couple weeks ago that on paper would bring me a lot of money, but the partner would not bring me money, you know? I just want to stay in that like peaceful state. And once you're there, you're like, and I want everyone to experience this. Because you understand, like, they're carrying away so many weights and so much programming and so much shit that's not serving them, and it's causing them to stay this way. And they're not truly happy that way. Even if they don't want to admit it out loud, they're not. Right? So.
Yeah, I think I know actually one of your business partners, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
I interviewed him actually.
Oh, you did?
But probably 2 years ago.
Okay.
Like more in the beginning. And yeah, I never knew actually that you were connected. Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I really, really like his energy as well. And he has a great story. If you haven't watched this episode, go and check out Adam's story.
Yeah, he's great.
What a rock star he was.
Yeah, literally.
He can sing. He can really sing. And so, wow, I think we've covered so much other topics that I thought we would, but I love it. I love it. And yeah, I actually wanted to ask you also that obviously you like nice hotels and the luxury villas, don't we all, you know, once you've been in the best places, it's great. But do you ever also go camping? Do you go hiking?
I do hike.
And do this kind of low-key travel?
I don't camp anymore. I'll be honest.
Once you slept in a great bed?
No, I'll be honest.
Mattress.
I love nature. I do love hiking. I do love staying in places that are rural. Like one of my favorite places in the entire planet is Finca La Donaira. Oh my God. You've been there?
I haven't stayed there.
Oh, you have got to. You have got to go
it's
there.
In my bucket
like
list,
for me,
yeah.
And they have like glamping tents. Oh yeah.
So you've done those?
Yeah,
but like
I've done them.
glamping,
But they're like,
yeah, they're
I
really...
wouldn't call them a tent.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do like to be out in nature and, you know, but yeah, most of the places I stay now are pretty, I grew up camping, but you know, like now I'm not going to lay on the ground and, you know, it's just, I'd rather be in like an RV or a cat. I like the nature part, but yeah.
And talking about this consciousness and awareness, how do you feel about psychedelics? Have you ever tried any? What do you
Absolutely.
feel?
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. They have been given a bad stigma too. And mostly because in America, again, J.D. Rockefeller, if you do your research, and you can Google all this stuff. The stuff that I say is never, it's all, you can fact find it all. You know, they made it illegal to use all this stuff because he wanted to push petroleum-based pharmaceuticals on everyone because that's how he makes his money. But there are studies that were done in the early 20s, 30s, and 40s at Harvard, Yale, and some of these other institutions where they were using MDMA, LSD, mushrooms, and mescaline successfully to unwire and help people break free of things that they couldn't do with traditional psychology. And so, yes, I believe that they are extremely helpful if they're done, you know, under the right guise, under the right, with the right program, and for the purpose, in a safe area, for the purpose of accomplishing a task. Unfortunately, they have a bad name because young kids use them recreationally, and then people feel like, well, I don't want to do that, right? Well, like, why don't you want to take a mushroom? Like, you can ask anyone who immediately says, I don't want to do it. Okay, great. Why don't you want to do that? Tell me why. Medically, are you a doctor? Do you know what it does to your body? Right? No. The reason you don't want to do it is because your parents probably told you it was bad, or your school probably told you it was bad, but you don't know anything about science or medicine. So you really don't have the ability to have an intelligent opinion on what this is, right? And when you look at it, these medicines, what they do is they shut down your conscious mind that only has 1% of the power anyway, right? And it allows your subconscious mind to take over. This is why hypnosis is so powerful, because that's where you have the ability then to reprogram what you've been programmed, right? And you can do it so much faster and so much with so much more ease. And this is why people that do use this and under the right way are able to break free of a lot of this shit that they're carrying around with them. Or like, I broke up with my boyfriend, my husband left me, I can't get over it. You know, I can't stop smoking. I can't this, I can't that, I have this, I was molested as a child. Like all these like different trauma points that they're carrying with them, they obviously can't let go of them in their day-to-day life. And it's obviously causing them problems and pains and all these different things. And the reason why is because like, you can't do it with your conscious mind. You have to go to the other side, you know, and this is where it's been programmed, this is where it's been stored. And so I think they're very, very beneficial, but they have to be done under the right way, like controlled environment, safe, the right doses, the right, you know, facilitators, and they can have monumental impact. I mean, I know because I've done them, and I don't care. I tell people, oh yeah, incredible.
How was your experience?
Incredible. Most recently I did a session in December in Miami with a gentleman who's been doing this for like 12 years. He was a Russian guy. And I did medical grade pure MDMA. And before that, I had an intention of like, hey, I really want to break this pattern in my life where I put everyone else first and I end up suffering. And, you know, like I want to choose myself now and be able to tell people no and not be the nice guy. Like, you know, like it's a curse and a blessing, right? And so I did the session. I actually did it with my ex and this guy because he didn't really speak good English. And like I could literally see painted across time every single time that I did this, and then like how it affected me in a negative way. And then I was able to like see the pattern, recognize it. Even things I had forgotten in my conscious mind were no longer there, but in the subconscious, it's all there. Everything is there forever. And then I made a conscious choice after that, like I'm going to pick me from now on. I'm not going to keep sacrificing for the greater good, even if like that's what people think I should do. And before that, like I really couldn't do that. And my trip to the US recently was a direct result of that. Like I went there for 4 months. I didn't get to see my baby. He was here, right? It probably wasn't like on paper the right thing I should have done. But I know I needed to be there, and my business just exploded while I was there, and all these opportunities came to me. But like, had I like fell into the same pattern of like, oh, you know what? No, I should do this, or I have to do this because society or people that don't care about me think like no one really gives a shit about you anyway. So it doesn't even matter, you know, like they really don't. There's probably like this many people in the world that really do. So, but then I went against what I would have normally done, and I mean, business is like better than it's ever been. And so, yeah, I think it really can help people break free of a lot of the crap that they're carrying around, you know, whether they know it or not. And this is the thing, most people don't even know what they have.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by it. I haven't tried any, but I'm very, very, very curious. And I also think, that's just my personal opinion, that I think a lot of people just go to it looking for this magic pill, magic fix. I think also that's not the right state of mind to be in, just hoping that something will save me. That I think it's better to do the hard work first and then maybe use it later to go somewhere further. But I think that's why a lot of people are having bad trips and bad things, and also going to strange shamans and whoever promises them something. I think done in a clinical setting and everything controlled, I think also it's something that could be very, very useful to a lot of people. And ibogaine, I don't know if you've heard about ibogaine as well. There was a Netflix documentary about it, how much it's helped the PTSD of the soldiers, because there's more soldiers dying in suicide than dying in the battles. So it's like, it's insane. The problem is huge. So I think Trump has now given a go-ahead to start researching ibogaine and making it legal. And so I feel like that's definitely the future. And let's see where it goes. Hopefully just people don't abuse it. I think that's the problem with people, with everything, just going way on board. Like social media is great when you use it 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day. You use it 6 hours a day, not so
That's
good.
too much, yeah.
So
No,
finding the balance
absolutely.
and finding what is right for you, what is right for me, maybe not right for you. So I think you have to really listen to yourself, I guess.
Yeah, you do. And that's the other part about personal development is that people think, they walk by their microwave and they see 11:11 and everything's going to be great, like this is because we live in a society where it's quick fix, nobody wants to put in the time and work. Nobody wants to have put in the effort, right? We just want to be fixed. We just want it perfect. And so with me, I did quantum therapy for 3 years and I really worked on myself. And I every time I would have a trigger come up, I would want to address where is this coming from, because I know it's not mine. When you understand what emotions are, it's all programming. Every time you have a reaction to something that makes you mad or sad or happy, it's all a trigger that's based on programming from your and most of that comes from the time you're born to you're 7 years old, because your brain is in the same state as when you're asleep. It's when it's the most powerful, it's when it's the most susceptible. And so what you are taught at that time becomes like literally the truth. And the programs that run in your mind subconsciously that are like guiding your life. And so if you really want change, it does come with work. And I think this is where most people fail, is they don't want to put in the work. They just want the perfect life and the perfect partner and the big house and the cars, but they don't want to address what am I carrying around with me that's preventing me from having that. And so, because society is in a place where everything's quick and fast, and the younger generation doesn't want to do any type of work, it's going to be really tough for a lot of them to have these breakthroughs. But like you said, it's not just something you do and then you're fixed. I work on myself every single day. I'm doing my modalities every single day. You have to continue to do this. I have I have 2 spiritual advisors and I have a good friend, and I'm constantly checking in with them and bringing things to them, because this is how you got to keep yourself, aligned with those people, and then you have to stay on the right path. And you're never finished working on yourself. There's shadow work to do forever, but if you don't start, then you're just, I'm get used to what you see in the mirror. That's what you're going to be, you're not, Jesus isn't coming to save you. You're not going to win the lottery, right? You either make a conscious decision, you want something new, or just complain for the rest of your life and be miserable. But, it doesn't come without the work.
Yeah. Wise words. What would you tell us of people? I think a lot of people have this misconception about Marbella being very superficial. Yes, there's a lot of money and all these material things here. What would you tell people who are thinking that this is a place for only these plastic?
No, I mean, Marbella, I tell everybody, Marbella is whatever you want it to be. I chose it as the place I wanted to live when I left the United States. And as someone who's seen everything, I think that says a lot, right? There are so many subcultures here, people that are in hiking groups and running groups and outdoor activity groups and foodie groups, the ones that visit all the white villages. Yes, Marbella has the port and, Puente Romano, Marbella Club, and it has that posh luxury things, but you can go to Old Town and there's all these quaint little restaurants, and even downtown is a completely different world than this side of Marbella. And then when you get outside and go to Estepona or Mijas, there's so much of a diversity here, right? So it's you can't really pigeonhole it as just being yes, we have nice villas. Yes, it's expensive place to live in certain areas, and yes, you have all of that. But if you're an outdoor enthusiast, you have no shortage of hikes or mountains, or you can snowboard 2 hours away in Granada. You can go kite surf in Tarifa, which is an hour away. So you have all of that as well. And so I think it's very diverse. If you love golf, tennis, or paddle, you get plenty of that and the weather to go with it. So like you said, it's a bubble within Spain and it's a bubble within Europe. It really is special. But I think it has something for just about anyone here.
Yeah, I agree. You can party here, go ahead. But you can also meditate do yoga, and I actually feel like the new luxury also is the wellness industry, and everyone trying to be actually fit, healthy, and this drinking and partying has become a little bit, I mean, it's there, I'm not saying it's disappearing, but it's just, I see a big change. Non-alcoholic drinks, all of that is like on the rise, you know, it's great to see.
I drink biodynamic wine now.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
This is where I'm at in life, but intentionally, because it has no sulfates, it has no, you know, I love the story, and I love the art of winemaking in general. But like now I drink biodynamic because there's no hangover. I don't feel sluggish the next day, and you know.
Where do you get that? Which one?
There is a very cool store in Elvidia called Subtil, Subtil, and the owner is incredible, and he is very passionate about what he does. So you can go there, and there's a whole selection, and he knows the story of where all these biodynamic wines are made, and he's like got the best selection in Marbella, and then he's got like really good locally sourced like goat cheeses and vegetables, and so you can go there and have wine and a good charcuterie plate, and they work very closely with La Donaira, which is they make their own biodynamic wine there too. So it's a really, really cool place. If you haven't checked it out, you should go. Yeah.
And I love Ronda wines. I mean, I don't know how many you've tried, probably a lot, but Ronda has some incredible wines. And like you said, without the sulfites, you just don't get a hangover because you're really, you know, you're drinking a great quality wine. And I love to support the local, you know,
I will have
a
finca in Ronda one day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally been on my list for a long time. Like that's something I would rather have that than a villa in Marbella.
Yeah. What else do you have on your list? Do you still like kind of do these conscious vision boards, or like you said in the beginning, you were posting these pictures? Do you still kind of do that?
So I just made a vision board with my ex-girlfriend in December. I hadn't done one in a long time, but now I've mentored 70 people in the past. What I find a lot more powerful than vision boards is what we call manifestation movies. So, and with AI now, it's very easy to make these. So basically a manifestation movie is you have, goals like house, car, partner, all these things. And you find clips of videos. Now you can actually make them on AI for free with your face in them on all these different things. And then you have the written affirmations of what those are over the top of it. And then you actually put it to a song that no matter where you are in the world, if you hear this song, like a positive upbeat song, like you'll get happy, you'll sing it, like it has that emotional tie. Because again, like I say, like people say thoughts are things, but really the emotion is where the power comes from. This is what most people don't understand. So like if thoughts are things, thoughts are the gun, but the emotions and the feelings are the bullet. That's where the power is at, right? So what a manifestation movie does is it gets you to feel these feelings and emotions of having already had that in your life. And I have one on my phone. I've done 2 iterations of it. I probably should do a 3rd one, but mine's like 3.5 minutes, and you can't help but feel like incredible after you watch it, because it's basically your life the way you envision it, as it is, like it's already done, but like now. And it's to a song that you never get sick of, that you love, and then the written affirmation. So that was a really powerful tool for me that helped me in the beginning when I started Luxury World Traveler. And it was actually one of the guys that was in The Secret that I followed that did this, and then I made my own way back in like 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm laughing because I've done my own mind movie, because to be honest, I'm looking for an app where you can do that. There isn't one. I really wanted to. I've been thinking like I'd love to have an app for that, to do that. But because I made my own, in certain other programs, But just I did that maybe 3 years ago or something.
Okay. Yeah.
But the same, just like I woke up, boom, on. So just like program, and as you
great.
said, I'm looking at these pictures and this song that just puts a smile on my face. So, imagine starting your day with already this happy smile on your face, and, already these things in my head that I'm wishing or wanting and believing that I already have. So it's worked really well. And
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to create that app. Maybe you should.
Yeah, I actually bought the domain manifestationmovie.com, and I was going to do it, and then I just, like I have like 18 projects I'm working on right now. So
I can imagine.
I don't really have, but it will probably be something that comes out like in a year or something down the road. It's been there and now with AI, it's so much easier.
Yeah, I've been thinking like I'm sure
Super
someone's
easy.
going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I downloaded all the apps that were similar.
Oh, none of them are good. No,
and I was like, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah.
It needs to be like this. I was already thinking, should I find someone and just do it? But I'm like, I'm the same. I have a lot going on, and not right now. But yeah, someone will do it hopefully, and that can really help people because I believe in that so much, and especially when it's like personalized. It's something to listen to someone else's affirmations, but when you've done it personalized to you and what you want, and all these pictures and music, that will bring out the right emotion, I think, in you. So it's cool. I would love to see your manifestation movie.
Yeah, no.
The biggest lie the entrepreneurship world tells people.
The biggest lie, entrepreneurship, that it's going to be easy.
What do you know now that you wish someone had told you back in 2008?
That failure is part of the process of success.
The person who has shaped you the most, who is it and why?
Probably my mom. She was a single mom, so she's the one that raised me, and she's the one that instilled all the morals and love and family, and a lot of who I am today I would put on her for sure.
The good programming.
Yes, the good programming. Yeah.
One thing about you that would genuinely surprise your followers. I think we surprise them enough.
Yeah, I think this spiritual side of me, which is like it's the thing I'm the most passionate about now. I'm still passionate about travel, but I'm really passionate about like helping people break free of the matrix or whatever they're stuck in.
Travel with purpose.
Absolutely.
And what are you most afraid of?
Me?
You.
Probably not accomplishing all the things that I want to do, just running out of time, I do want to not have to work so much anymore. So yeah, I guess just running out of time, not being able to do all the things because I have a million things in my head so that I want to do. Yeah. Yeah.
And any last words, anything you want to, something that we didn't talk about? Is there anything you want to touch upon?
No, I just think for me, I would really encourage people to travel internationally because, once you're on the other side and you have the things that most people look towards, right? And you really want that for a lot of people, right? And so the reason why I love international travel is because I really do feel like it's a starting point of your own education, right? When you travel internationally, it's one of the only times in life that you'll have a true organic learning experience, because the entertainment world or the TV or the media from your past isn't there. Your parents aren't there. Your school's not there. Your religion's not there. It's just you and another place. And so there's no filters on you. You get to learn and experience and you really immerse yourself in a culture for the first time without any of these filters being put on you. And so it's really an amazing experience, because you start to understand that, wow, I thought Japan was this, or I thought Dubai was this, or I thought Turkey was this, or I thought, Egypt was, you already have some kind of stigma. Yeah. But where does that come from? So when you're there, then you get to learn on your own for the first time. And that's a great feeling. It's a very fulfilled, feeling. And when you come home, you want to tell everybody about your experience, oh my God, the food was this and the people were this and I learned so much and da da da. But that usually can become a starting point of okay, well, what else don't I know, right? And the thing is there's a lot that people don't know and a lot that's been kept for them. And this information is really the information that has the power to change their lives. Nothing that they've been taught has that power, or their lives would be different. So this is why I really feel like people need to get out and travel internationally. And September of last year, I went to a very intense personal development retreat. It was in Marrakesh, Morocco. 14 people from around the world were there. None of us had ever met each other before, you know, and we got to not only learn a lot about ourselves, but each other, but we also immerse ourselves in the Moroccan culture. So one day we volunteered at a nonprofit organization run by women. Another time we went to the marketplace. We did a yoga session in the desert at sunrise. So that really inspired me to want to start doing those types of programs, because I feel like people can have a lot more impactful overall change in their life if they really want to work on themselves, but if they're doing it, you know, in certain places outside of their comfort zone, and then I feel like it's like a snowball. Once it gets going, then the more they're going to want to focus inward and not so much outward, and that's how the change can happen. You know, that's how they can really start to see things happen outside of their control, which is, and when it happens to you, you know that it's not woo-woo. You know it's not weird, you know? Like when things just come to you and you become that magnet, then it's really super rewarding. And when you see that and you have the change in your life that you want, I mean, you know, nobody wants to live a bad life, nor should they. But unless they're willing to like really accept new information they haven't been taught, then most likely they'll stay where they're at, which I think is unnecessary. So yeah.
Sign me up for that retreat. I'm looking forward to those trips.
Yeah.
It's almost like the 9 Perfect Strangers. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Like that's probably something where I guess the luxury traveling industry could go. So I think we're looking for different kind of experiences now. And I love this quote actually about travel. It's it goes that how was it? It's basically whatever you spend on travel, it's never money bad spent.
Yeah.
You only get richer every time you travel.
Yep. Absolutely. Because you're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and
and
again,
you're buying
like,
an experience. You know, you're getting an experience back.
Yeah, exactly. And people think, oh, it's too expensive and I can't and this and that. But, you know, to me, a sad life would be to live in a certain place your entire life and never go out and see the world, because then you never really experience what the world has to offer, you know, and where you're born doesn't necessarily mean that's where home is.
Yeah.
Because I've been to a lot of places around this world and it didn't seem like home. And then I've been, you know, like when I came here the first time, I was like, oh, this actually feels more like home than LA does. And, you know, like now it's like, I like to be here as much as I can. Obviously, I can't be here all the time. But had I not left LA, then I would never even know about, you know, this part of Spain. And it would be very unfortunate for me just to stay in a little bubble, never get out and travel, and just think that that's what the world is, right?
Yeah. It was, travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer.
Correct.
Yeah. I love that quote.
Yeah,
It's so true.
it's a great quote.
So yeah, you don't have to go luxury traveling. Just go traveling.
Yeah.
Just go. Start with 2 hours away, like you said. Explore the villages. Go and see the world. Explore people and ideas, and that's where real growth happens, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, traveling itself is a luxury. You know.
Like exactly.
It is. And it's just so rewarding when you get to go immerse yourself in another culture and eat the food and meet the people and do things that you don't do every single day. It really opens your mind up to like more possibilities. So, yeah.
Amazing. It's been amazing to talk to you. Mind-blowing. And I'm really happy that we had this time, and I'm looking forward to what you're going to do next. I'm really, really excited. So thank you again for your time. For your experiences.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad we finally made it happen. I know it was a lot to track me down, but
I think it was the right timing. Maybe it would have been the same a year or 2 ago. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Who knows? So thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to link, of course, Gil and his companies below. And if you like what you see here, if you love these conversations, please, I would really appreciate if you subscribe and share it with your friends. If you learned something, why not share it with your friends and share this beautiful conversation and inspiration? And don't forget to travel.
Absolutely.
Thank you.